Alright, let's talk about the 6.6 quest, and this will be fast because I got a lot to say. Starting with the length, this quest was around 7 hours. I don't care if a quest is long, but this quest has a bunch of not very important character dialogues and plot expositions, which in my opinion are just boring. If you enjoy lore, then maybe you didn't mind those, but I did. What I want is character progression, and it's funny because the quest had a bit more than usual, but not nearly enough, and it wasn't impactful enough. Golei and Paimon were just okay, and Doris was cool, but we already saw that did not cry. The best progression was from Jet, but I mean, she's the best character in the game, go figure. The one character that needed progression, Wanderer, got pretty much none, and that's incredibly disappointing. He didn't even get his revenge on Dottore, and to me that's the biggest tragedy here. Speaking of characters, the war quest appearances were pretty much just jingle in case. They were there so Hoyoverse could be like, look at our cool, long intertwining narrative. They didn't even bother to attend to the epilogue. Anyway, let's talk about the plot. It's just pretty much a repeat of 3.2. The group comes up with an elaborate plan where magically everyone is important. Except this one is worse because it has 5 hours of build-up, while 3.2 only had 2 hours. I also question how they managed to completely rework Aru when it's forgotten tech, they had limited materials and limited time. Moving on, both Dottore and Pantolone were honestly disappointing. Dottore was way worse than in Not Cry, and Pantolone was just your average talk instead of fight villain, and not in a good way. The fight was both the highlight of the quest, because there was some action, and also the biggest disappointment. The power levels are all over the place. I refuse to believe that the Traveler, Nahid and Wanderer wouldn't wipe off the floor with Dottore there. The actual combat sucked, because the team had no synergy. The only DPS was Wanderer, and he kept getting stunned. And while I'm talking about him, here's my main issue with the quest. It just lacked emotion. Golei at the start made me believe it would have some, and then nothing. Then NPCs die at the start, no reaction. Wanderer gets to fight Dottore, no hatred or anger. Golei finally manages to move on at the end, nothing. Now, the biggest complaint on social media has been the lack of consequences. Personally, I wasn't too bothered. But I'll say that not only are there none, but Irving's soul burning was actually a net positive, because Nahida said that now Fate has more possibilities. I'm more bothered by the fact that the Pyronosis disappeared and nothing happened, when Nahida made a big deal out of destroying one back in 3.2. I also don't like how what was supposed to be a world-ending event kinda felt like just another Tuesday. To be fair, part of the problem is the weight of expectations, but let's be real, they kinda did this to themselves. The Burning Tree was shown many years ago, and while I like the twist that we weren't ourselves, the conclusion was just unsatisfying. After all my complaints, you might be thinking that I hate the quest, but I didn't think it was bad, just disappointing compared to Not Cry. The quest didn't have that epic conclusion feeling to it, and it didn't move me. But to reiterate, 80% of what's wrong with this quest is characters that don't feel real and lack emotion. What I yapped about is only 20% of the problem. I got 2 more things to mention before ending this short. First, the audio balance issues. I don't know if it's just me being stupid, because I never see anyone talking about it, but some songs either don't play or are way too quiet while others are completely fine, and it completely kills the storytelling. Let me know in the comments if you have the same issue or not. And finally, I'll say that I've seen a few theories, and if Dottore comes back a third time, I'll be very pissed.